going on, guys? It's Illuminastic, fresh off of another amazing day in the Amazon rainforest. Today we went to Piña Caverna Piña de Pollo, which is penis of the chicken. And the only thing I can think about this is that there's like these, they're not really chicken, but there's some sort of migratory bird that's only in the cavern for 1 month out of the year, and they have these nests and like little areas where they lay their eggs and stuff. And so I guess it's a reference to the stalactites and the birds together, you know, because they do look like dildos sticking out of the ground everywhere. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else the reference could be, but it was an amazing cavern. We had to crawl on our hands and knees to get through a lot of it. It was a bat hit me, like full speed, you know, 12-inch vampire bat just slammed right into my arm. There's artifacts in there and stuff. I mean, it was really wild. So at any rate, I just wanted to pop on hello soggy mids and let you guys know that we have absolutely definitivamente confirmed that we're going to be having our retreats at Ingaru Lodge from December and indefinitely into the future. Could be forever. I could see us staying there forever. It's 50 hectares of virgin rainforest, crystal clear rivers, caverns, springs, totally self-sustaining. There's fish farms, tilapia, lots of chicken, cacao, coca, all of the medicinal plants of the jungle, everything you could possibly need to survive like nuclear winter, for example, all on the property. And so I'm gonna post a video really soon I did a short interview with the owner of the property, who's Taita Juan de la Cruz, who's a Quechua shaman. He's kind of ailing and can't really take care of the property himself. And there's really an extraordinary story how I came into contact with this guy, because we had some issues at the property where we are now having our retreats. Like sometimes there's no water. At one point we had a septic issue, but the biggest problem was really that the woman that owns the property is not coming from the same place that we are in terms of, I guess, like ethics or politics or something. And, you know, crazy things would happen. Like she insisted that we don't pay the Quechua here the mandatory minimum wage for Ecuador so that we didn't screw up her exploitation economy and stuff. And so, you know, that's not really good energy for this kind of medicine work. And so when I realized that we had a problem and I needed to resolve it, we went out to have ceremony, and I drank the medicine that night, and I asked, you know, show me the way forward, because you know, we don't really have any investment capital. You know, and it just seemed really unlikely that I could just find a property that suited the conditions that we needed, that I could afford to get into. And so the next day I was walking down the street and I needed some agua de Florida for ceremony, and I went into a store that I'd never been into before, and there's a Quechua man, and we started talking, and I just happened to mention that I had been studying plant medicine since I was a child, and he said, oh really? Well, I have this property that I'm trying to rent. And we went out and looked at it, and we're like, wow, this is amazing, but we definitely don't have the kind of money that you would need to rent a place like this. And so a few weeks later, he contacted us and said, why don't we just do a percentage? And, you know, because I have to go to Quito and I will be away. And so I was like, under those conditions, we absolutely can try to do this. So, and it's an incredible place. I mean, it's, as I said, primary rainforest, caverns, and the wild animals are, they're not wild in the sense that they're not tame, but they are free to come and go as they please. So they're not pets either. And sometimes, like, there was a macaw, like a big giant golden red macaw, like in the garage, and it was just, you know, hanging out. And you can pet it and stuff, it's friendly, but when it's done being around humans, it just goes off into the jungle. And the same with the quaddy on the thumbnail. His name is Randy, and he's sweet as a cat. I mean, he'll follow you around and play with you and stuff. And then Quaddy is like a cross between a raccoon, a possum, a ring-tailed cat, and a pig, I guess. And so there's him, and then, you know, in addition to the stuff on this property, so now we have an area where we have like huge spacious rooms. There are tortoises that will pass through the building, so there's like turtles walking around inside of the building sometimes. Big, you know, jungle tortugas. Where was I at with all this? Okay, so there's the rooms, super nice, super huge, big bathrooms, all that. And then right outside the door, there's the ceremonial pit. Well, fire pit. And, you know, it's not a Maloka in the way that, you know, the Shipibo build them, but it's similar kind of building. I can't remember the name they use here at the moment. So there's that, and then, you know, the caverns are like a 3-minute walk from there, so you can go sit in them anytime you like. Not dangerous, there's no like big drops or anything. You just go in about 15 meters, and sometimes we'll drink medicine in there. Crystal clear river running like, you know, feet from the dormitory for the sleeping quarters. Parrots and monkeys in the trees and stuff, you know. I mean, it's really just an extraordinary jungle paradise. And so, oh, you know what? Another interesting element of this story is the Supai spirit. I come from like a Hermetic background, I guess. And I mean, I say that very loosely because really what I've done is kind of studied all the different traditions of the world. And at the end of the day, I think that like Hermeticism is kind of the most baggage-free sort of system, you know. It's not really at any rate, though, Baphomet is this, a lot of people think it's the devil. It's not the devil. It's an androgynous goat that represents nature, and it has its hands in the as above so below sign. And so when we arrived at this property, after, you know, already all the synchronicity, I go into the ayahuasca ceremonial building, and there's a flag of Baphomet. And I've never seen this before. I've been living around Quechua for years, and I've never seen this goat with its hands are in the as above so below. I mean, I'll do a video where I'll put a poster of Baphomet next to this thing, and it's incredible. And it turns out that the Quechua have their own Baphomet called Supai, and his hands are in the as above so below position and everything. So that was really just remarkable synchronicity. And I knew when I saw that flag that we're supposed to be at this property. And then so an additional bit of detail that may be meaningful to some of you is that 50% of the money that we make at Syncretic Spiritual Systems retreats goes directly to the Quechua community. So that's a big deal because they are able to protect the primary rainforest in ways that, like, if I bought a deed in the jungle, it doesn't have the same protection for the rainforest from like the Chinese government and whatnot as it does if the indigenous own it, if that makes sense. So it's really important that we keep this land in indigenous hands, because if it gets sold to even foreigners, then I think it's more susceptible to being sold or to, you know, because they did something where there was a problem with land deed holders getting killed because they had to, the family would have to pay like this huge percentage of how much the land cost in order to retain the deed if the title holder was unalived. And so they would find people that owned, you know, where they had determined there were mineral deposits. The owner of the property would be found floating in the river. And so the families never generally had the money because it's just inherited, you know, what is it called when you just stake the land, and, you know, it's been in the same hands for generations. And so they don't have any money. They just had land, and so they can never buy it. So in order to stop the murdering, they changed the laws so that the Ecuadorian government can just come in and take the minerals. But I think it's more difficult if it's owned by like the Shuar or the Quechua or some indigenous group. So that's an important thing I think that we're doing there, trying to keep the jungle in the hands of the indigenous. you know, I really don't know what else to say about all this except that, you know, all the stuff at the property and the medicine and oh, well, there's going to be a plant medicine school run by local Quechua. The Quechua Shamans Federation is located in the community where the nearby community. But we have a bunch of like add-ons and some things that are included, like drinking with Mama Celia, who is like a recently contacted person. She first saw a, she didn't know what a town was until she was 17 years old, didn't learn to speak Spanish until she was like 17. I think she's like 57 now or something like that. I have a little bit of the video of the opening of the last ceremony we did with her. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, she's sitting on like in the ceremony, sitting on like this giant tortoise shell and burning nothing but copal. So the maloka just, you know, strong smell of copal. Absolutely beautiful maloka. She calls the jungle animals with like this shell that she blows into, and the monkeys will answer. So that's an amazing experience. And then we're doing a Baños excursion that is a, you know, like an optional add-on. So we go to the volcano Tungurahua and go to the thermals there and take a break from intense plant medicine to go just soak in the thermals and go up the volcano for a day. So there's that, and also the optional trips to the caverns to drink with the Quechua shaman whose family owns the Piña de Pollo caverns. So, you know, we do have that on our property, a cavern that you can drink in, but then there's a larger cavern with a subterranean waterfall where the Quechua have their ceremonies. And then also we'll occasionally do forays down into Gualaquiza to drink with Miguel Chiriop, who in my opinion is one of the last like truly authentic, you know, he hasn't, the ayahuasca industry has not like tainted his practice, and he's Shuar. But that is an additional, that's like an add-on. It's not included in the basic retreat price. But yeah, oh, and there's, I don't think I mentioned the boa habitat on the property. I guess they were getting like rescued boas and letting them go on the property. So we have a huge population of rainbow boas and red-tailed boas on the property. So amazing opportunity to do a lot of awesome stuff. We're going to be working with a lot of different medicines and a lot of different shamans from different traditions. You know, we have Mama Celia, who's an amazing mama, you know, female Taita. She's a woman, which is kind of unusual in Quechua culture to have a female shaman. But she's an absolute treasure. And then I wanted to mention that, you know, you guys might have noticed that my live streams have like devolved back to like iPhone selfie camera with mediocre audio. And that's because we had problems with the laptop and we got it back, but they didn't return a Bluetooth piece. I can't use my keyboard now, so I'm still without a laptop. So as soon as I get that back, I'm gonna start doing those live streams again. And the next one is gonna be like a reaction to this Donald Duck cartoon from like the late 1950s or early 1960s that is like all this Masonic sacred geometry stuff. It's completely insane. It'll blow your mind that this actually exists. So that'll be the next reaction video. Let's see. Well, oh yeah, and for my patrons, I missed the secret stream on Sunday, so we're gonna do it tomorrow. So if you're wondering what's up with that, tomorrow we'll get back into the Masonic mysteries. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit the like button, share, subscribe, spread the word about Syncretic Spiritual Systems Retreat. We're gonna have one of our guests come on in the next few days to kind of talk about his experience here. He's been here for 3 weeks and he just signed on for another 4 weeks. So it must be going well for him. That's an awful long time. And we're actually taking him with us to Ayampe, and I'll definitely get some videos that are, you know, ocean iguanas, and probably do some like surf lessons, and you know, the beaches here are amazing. Montanita's crazy, completely lawless beach town, and then on the north end of it there's Ayampe, which is like quiet, and the jungle comes right down to the ocean. There's islands right off the shore. You can like take a little short boat ride out, and they're just like the Galapagos. So Yeah, man, custom packages also we can put together, you know, and I would encourage people that aren't interested in plant medicine. This is not totally focused on that. We're also looking at Hermetic ritual and meditation techniques, and also just, you know, exploring the jungle and having all these crazy expeditions to caverns, and so it's like adventure ayahuasca, I guess, and San Pedro and Changa and psilocybin and you know, on and on. So, oh, and by the way, we're doing a couples only retreat in February where we're going to be using this cacao drink that is the most extraordinarily delicious thing you'll ever put in your mouth. And it is made with just pure cacao juice. So not like chocolate, not fermented, roasted, but just the fresh fruit, like the white pulp is squeezed and this juice is extracted. And we add some coconut milk to it to add some fat and kind of cut the tartness. And then we use Uchusananga flowers, which are a powerful aphrodisiac with other secret plants that I cannot divulge. And so this is the spring on our property that is sacred to the Quechua. So the Quechua women will bring you, yeah, I've seen those old cartoons like that too. The Quechua women will bring you down to the spring, and we'll have, like, you know, a couples oriented sort of medicine retreat for probably 10 days or something. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit the like button, share, subscribe, support us on Patreon, and we'll see you again soon. What's up?